So the thing is, it being about 2 months out since we moved, and it was a very unplanned move, as one can imagine, from a five-alarm house fire, um, apartment building fire, whatever. Um, there's still a lot, everything was kind of like pack in a rush, leave. So there's still a lot of things that you need to run to a given store to get to fix as they come up. Um, as is a thing in life, right? That is all to say that there are still trips to Lowe's and Home Depot, but preferably, if the prices aren't too different, they'll be the Lowe's, because the Lowe's down here has a better plant section than the Lowe's, than the Home Depot. Can't really tell you that much about the Lowe's and the Home Depot up in New Jersey, because in Essex County, it's not like there's a bunch of Lowe's compared to Home Depot's. Home Depot, I think from where we were, there's probably at least 4 or 5, probably more, in a 5 mile and a 6 mile radius. Not a Lowe's inside. Not a Lowe's. I would have to go from New Jersey to Brooklyn, to Red Hook, as far as I know, to get to a Lowe's in that area. So anyway, we went to Lowe's is the shorthand of it, and I'm in the mood. I'm like, okay, maybe I should stop investing in these annuals. Maybe I should stop getting annuals. Maybe I should invest in a perennial. And I'm like, do I want a phlox? Do I want a coreopsis? And the one Lowe's that was closer to us, or the one we tend to frequent more, has more perennials and different sizes, and generally speaking, more. They tend to have more plants at different sizes, different price points. The one we went to today, however, has a bigger clearance section. So it's like, oh, let's now that I know where it is, like, let's go to the clearance section first. Great, but not great, because there were no plants I really wanted to get. There was one begonia, but it was like a taller, and I could have rehabbed it, whatever. But I'm like, and the foliage was pretty, I'm not gonna lie, but it was on clearance, and because they have a given price range, it was in the 5 to, I think it's 8, so it was gonna come down to 4, which is like, for a $2 savings, am I really into this plant? No. If it had been half off, probably, but $4 is not enough to like really sell me. And I feel like they might just come down some point later, maybe not. Anyway, so didn't get that. The perennials they had, not really it. They did have phlox, which is like, I want phlox, but these phlox were taller for some reason than the ones I had seen at the first one. And again, that's like last time I went, the phlox chock full of bees. Fine, maybe not phlox right now, but I'm like, any other ones I want? Any coreopsis? Not any ones besides the yellow ones that look kind of like just yellow carnations. I'm not into those. They didn't have perennials. They didn't have heavy perennials. But I'm like, I want another plant. I'm getting another plant today. So I'm looking around. Actually, they did have perennials outside, but then still not enough. Also, a lot of the plants were in summer now, so a lot of the plants, their bloom is spring, summer. So if at this point you're done blooming, unless your foliage is like, wapow, it's not, you're not selling me, right? So at this point, I'm just looking for, there are certain plants I have in mind. I'm like, I would like a hellebore, if I come across a hellebore. I want a heuchera. They had some today, but for whatever reason, maybe because it's just summer and not yet fall, it wasn't like selling. Oh no, that's the other reason, because I'm like, it's summer, so it's hot. We have frogs. I've seen the frogs here. I don't want the frogs finding refuge in the luscious shade of the heuchera. In the fall, assuming they're still available for sale, I thought they won't find necessarily shade from the heat. It might just be like, ooh, shade, but it won't be shade from the heat, which in my mind means less frogs. If there's gonna be frogs, there's gonna be less frogs in the fall. Anyway, and then also there's a local trading company, excuse me, local nursery that I want to go to, but they're closed today because today's the 4th. So I go outside. I'm like, oh, annuals. I'm not really wanting an annual, but like for the right annual, I might. And they did have callies, and I don't really care for callies. I don't really care for that banana leaf foliage. I'm not the type of person who's like, I want the looks of the tropics outside of the tropics. Nah, I just, I mean, granted, like most annuals are somewhat tropical, but I don't want that to mimic that look of like, I'm in the Caribbean. What I'm obviously not. That's not my vibe entirely. And I feel like banana, even though this is, I guess, subtropical, it's not out of the realm of the area to have like banana trees. So some of my neighbors have banana trees. But the callies for me are just, even though they're, DSK perennials, they're just not my vibe per se. I like the bloom. I was considering a candy for the bloom. They have the white, yellow blooms, and because of my begonia and the white, yellow, white flowers at night, lovely because it's night. But if you have your lights on, you can still see them pretty clear. Even without your lights on, you can still see them because they're anyway. So I'm like, but also I don't want to just overdo it on that one color. So I'm like, what annuals do I want? I saw one and I'm like, but I already have one. But it's a different variety. So I ended up getting another plant. So I have the Iconia begonia. This is the BK Bonnie begonia. Okay, and I'm like, do I want another begonia? Because even the clearance plant that I was considering was a begonia. But I was walking with it. My sister's like, is that a rose? I'm like, no, but it looks like one, right? Because it's so pretty. I feel like it's a different flower. It's a different flower structure. The leaves are wildly different. They're bigger. The flower is different. I don't know that, and I'm gonna take it outside to anyway, but the flower is different. I almost got this previously. This one looks like maybe it's just started flowering. So I'm like, okay, we've still got some life in here. Actually, my Iconia begonia looks like maybe it's gone to seed. So if that's viable, I have some for next year. But I'm like, obviously I got it. I almost got it before. It's a different type of begonia comparatively. It's a different color scheme. The Iconia begonia has the lovely leaves, has the lovely flowers, different habit. This is BK Bonnie, and it says it is spring, summer, fall. I won. It has a fall flower too. Okay, I know that Iconia goes. It says 8 to 10 inches high, and 4 to 6 inches width. I was thinking about that. I'm like, the Iconia begonia has definitely grown a lot. Let me see. So it's about, let's say, 7 inches from the base of the rim of the, not cup, planter, whatever. It's about 7 inches. So a couple more inches it could get in height, fine. And then width, it's about 4 to 6. It's probably about its width, So if anything, I expect that it'll put on more blooms and maybe get a little wider, a little taller. Fine with me. I'm fine if this is like this. My whole planning of, even though I'm considering with certain plants of doing like mixed containers, I really like the look of just like single plants in a container, and they're like showstoppers on their own and then mixed together. I feel like it has more impact. So anyway, let me go. I think I have a fertilizer stick up here. So I imagine that this is actually a houseplant fertilizer, but I don't care. Let me go. Hear the roots crunching a bit. That's fine. I'm gonna have to repot this soon because I can feel that it's Well, it's not root bound. I don't see root coming up, but it's a bit dry. I'm gonna water it, but let's take it outside. Okay, so my Iconia begonia. I don't know what happened, but you can see that. Damn, hold on. See that something happened to the stem where I don't want to pinch it off. It's not even like at a node. I have to pinch it down farther to get to the node. But so this one was like rotted off, and I just stuck it back in the soil to see if it roots up. I might do that with that, and see if I don't know if I should do that with that or just leave it on. But like I was saying, it looks like we're going. I don't know if it's that we're going to see or that's just the end of the thing. But also, I feel like I saw one in here before earlier today. Yeah. So I don't know if it is something that's gone to seed or it's just the end that fell off after the flower fell off. I don't know. Interesting to see, but look at this foliage. I've shown that in many videos. This foliage is great. The flower is great. But then we have this flower, right? And it's like, look at that bloom in comparison. It's to me, it looks different. The foliage is different in shape because we have it's kind of whorled leaves, I guess. They're kind of long. They're not, I wouldn't say, I mean, I guess, I don't know if it's appropriate to call them landslide, but you see that we have the brown and green. This is just like full green with maybe like a brown margin. It's just wonderful, right? Here's my petunia that, I'm not sure why it's seemingly stopped flowering. Yesterday especially, it was supposed to rain, and then the forecast changed. I didn't notice it until after the fact. So I hadn't watered them, so I came out this morning and I watered them. Right now, what's happening? I think this might be the frog. Might be the frog hopping around, messing my plants up. Anyway, so the begonia that's purple, I was going to see it. I assume this is all new growth at the top. This is what it's looking like to me. So I assume we're going to have some flowers in the next week or so. But, the vinca just has such impact in its, small grouping, I think. We have the white vinca flowers, the purple, the white yellow. We had the purple. It should be coming back. Oh, what is that? It's a flying bee! Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm such a ninny. Anyway. So, the red is now replacing the geranium that rotted away because the thunderstorms here are very unpredictable. I don't know. And the purple is faded, I guess. So I do need to invest in some, or at least the current blooms are gone, expecting more. But the vinca is essentially ever blooming, ever growing. The vinca even, one of these has 3. Yeah, I think this is the 3rd one. So this one is a flat of 8. And I think one of the flats, one of the cells in the flat, when I was removing it, it broke. So I put the root and I put the top. This is the top that grew up, and the top was like here when I put it, and now it's at the height of the other ones. So the vinca, the other one was here the other day I checked, and it was essentially like dead and wilted. Here are the other ones. I guess theoretically there should be, there's 5 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So see, they're growing. So I didn't water because we're supposed to have like a week of rain, but then of course it might, change the forecast. So anyway, even though it's like 2 and just like 10 minutes ago the sun was blaring on these plants, I'm gonna water them. Yeah. Here is an old what is that? Here is an old, what was this? Creamer, one of my mother's old creamer bottles that she just reused and I'm now using as a watering can, quote, quote. So let's water them. Okay, so essentially this over here, until we get to the part of the shelf that doesn't get sun because of the overhang, presumably, or at least not as much sun. It's not like in the sun like the other plants are. This right here gets the most light because I'm south facing, so in the morning these plants get it. but most of the rest of the day, these plants are in the sun. So the plant was actually, let's check out this begonia's information in terms of habit. Yeah, this is bigger. This is 12 to 16 inches high, 12 to 16 inches wide. Ooh, also fall. I won. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure why this broke, and I don't know if I should just pinch it. Why am I bleeding on my leg? Why am I bleeding? Did I get bit somewhere? Anyway, don't know what that is. Why am I bleeding on my leg? Very weird. I don't know if I should just pinch it there or just let it be. Like, it feels pretty sturdy there. But nah, I'm just gonna pinch it. And we're gonna. That was a bee on my hand, but it didn't bite me. The bees here are generally friendly that way. We're gonna see if it roots. If it roots, great. If not, you know, you are beautiful. But being that the the Vinca rooted, maybe this will too, and then maybe it'll be fuller. That'd be great. That'd be great, right? Anyway, back to the star of today. So actually, that's the other thing. I don't know if this is supposed to be full sun or part sun. This is 3 to 6 hours morning sun. The other one is, what everyone say. So anyway, the other one is over here. So this is essentially the shade garden. All the plants that are part shade are shade mostly. So I have all my Marantas and collectors over here. All of them? Yes, all of them. My Aglaonemas, the one that got sun scorched, but still has some action in the bottom. This other Aglaonema that's doing great or doing well. I kind of want to do like a mixed planter with this. Maybe some of this too. Maybe some of the marigolds. I'm waiting for the marigolds to finally bloom. Anyway, so I have another blue potter like this, and it's holding one of the Vincas right now, but it's not in the same area, so I'm okay doubling up here. So this is, where this is gonna stay. Just gonna be the color area over here. Over here is with this wind friend. Yeah, so that's where that's going. We've got the red and the red. Okay, so the only flowering plant over here. Actually, I guess the Maranta flowers, but it's not big enough to be like, wow, a flowering plant. Anyway, so yeah, that's where that's going for now. I think it pops up too much. It would have to be a different type of red or more subtle color over here for now, is what I'm thinking. So I had pinched this back all the way down, and you see that we have some new growth coming up. So that's great. Here's a runner that is growing very regular with compared to the rest of the thing. So I might, once that starts coming up a lot, I might pinch these two back. And then I wanted to show an update on the what do you call this? What is this? Cordyline. So this is where I cut them off. These two are the tops, but we've got new growth coming out, so that should be flushing out real nice soon. Yeah. Okay. Oh, let me put this pot away. Why am I bleeding on my leg? So I'm not a driver for many reasons, least of which is I get car sick after certain periods of time, especially in the heat. And so I got nauseous. We stopped to get some food, ate some food. I thought it was better. I'm not. So I'm gonna go eat the rest of the food and just recuperate in the cool air now, because I think today's supposed to be 93. I feel nauseous, but it's supposed to get done. So things will get done. I'm looking over here, but anyway. So thanks for watching. If you have any ideas on and how I might do a mixed container with the Aglaonema, because on the one hand I'm like, maybe if the other Aglaonema had flushed out, I would put them together and then some, but it's not flushed out. It's kind of been slow growing. On the other hand, I'm like, I could just try and use some of this, I think it's a sedum, but I feel like that doesn't match anything, and haven't seen any really like um, trailing annuals I might use on the periphery, because clearly the aglaonema would be in the center and surrounded by things. Yeah, so I'm just workshopping some ideas with that. Pretty much everything, we're just waiting for it to get into its vigor. Hopefully, the begonia roots the two sections. Maybe I should have scratched it. I don't know. Hopefully it roots because it's below soil. Period. We'll check on that. I would like that. If that pot really filled out like that, oof. And then I did have the squash, and because they were power washing, I had to put it in the closet that's off the porch. And it was still in its container. Like, they grew fine, but they started yellowing, so eventually I had to take it out. But by the time I took it out, one of the three, the one that was doing the weakest anyway, was gone, so it's dead. The other two, my whole plan had been, each of them will get like its own container. At this point, I'm like, I don't know how well these are gonna do or not, so I just put them in the same container. That's essentially like the old soil compost container, which is fine with me. And I put some of the marigolds that I had been growing in the cells in with them. Like the next day they wilted again because of the heat. But they perked up, and we're supposed to get rain over the next few days, but I did water them all, so they should be fine until we get that rain. So, if you have any ideas, let me know. Thanks for watching. Yeah!